everyone. Today I'm going to be ranking every toons from worst to best based off of their stats and abilities. So, if you do enjoy this video, hit the like button and the subscribe button. With that being said, let's get on to the ranking. On to number 27 we have a Shrippo. Now, I'm not going to explain whether or not Shrippo is a bad toon as he's already bad enough. His stat wise aren't that good, and to top it all off, his passive ability makes his stealth even lower. So yeah, don't play this toon unless you want to challenge yourself or to complete the masteries of Shrippo. On to number 26 we have is Roger. Now it may seem like Roger may be a good toon, but trust me, once you have every twist fully researched, Roger will become useless and he'll just be a toon without an ability. So you're just gonna have to wait till the next update and Roger will become useful. But otherwise, his stat wise are pretty decent, is what I'm saying. But still not good at all. On to number 25 we have is Razzle Dazzle. Now some people may think R&D is good for distracting and extracting, but trust me, their 1-star is what makes them fall off on various floors. They could die on even numbered floors because of their 1-star speed on even numbered floors. So, and there are better options for extractors like Gliston or V or Shelly. So yeah, I don't recommend playing this toon at all. On to number 25 we have is Scraps. Now, based off of her stats, it may seem like Scraps has a lot of stamina, but due to her movement speed being low, she can't be able to get away with twisteds and stuff like. And also, it is not recommended to play by herself as Scraps, as her ability is required another player to pull herself into. So yeah, if you want to get your masteries, go play with other players then. On to number 23 is Poppy. Now, as a starter, this was my first ever toon I chose, and once you buy more toons and stuff like this, Poppy will become useless, and there are better options for all-rounders like Louie and other toons like this, and she also falls off in the late game. So yeah, once you buy other toons, stick with that toon and don't use Poppy unless you want to get your masteries up. Now on to number 22 we have is Tegan. Now if you're just onto the same one run with Sprout, that you're just basically taking out all the takes from Tegan. Both of them requires to heal, and Tegan will just heal herself, which makes her become very greedy. So that's why I don't recommend playing this toon if you're running with if you're playing a run as Sprout. But stat wise, hers is pretty decent, but the only downside of this is her stealth is very low, which means Twisted will get more attention to Tegan instead. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about Tegan. On to number 21 we have is Rudy. Rudy's basically just a Christmas version of Flutter where he dashes, but less, and his stats is pretty much the same as Poppy and Boxton. Now, in my opinion about Rudy is not a good toon as he may fall off in the late game just like Poppy. So yeah, but however, his lights are useful actually, but still not enough light radius. On to number 20 we have is Boxton. So in my opinion, Boxton heavily relies on teammates, and honestly, I feel like every time players die, Boxton's extraction speed becomes lower. So that's why I don't really solo as Boxton that much, and there are better toons who can extract better than Boxton. So yeah, that's really much it about Boxton. On to number 19 we have is Toodles. So in my opinion, Toodles can be a good toon, but at the same time, she can be bad as well, because her ability depends on luck, whether you're in a very good or bad situation. Like, let's say you're extracting a machine and you receive a movement speed that you don't need at that moment, then you're in a very bad situation. But if the ability gives you like extraction speed boost and you're extracting a machine, then that's a really good situation. So that's why I say Toodles is a very decent toon, and sometimes luck may be on my side actually. On to number 18 we have is Gigi. So just like Toodles, her active ability relies on luck, which means she can grant herself random item from any tier, meaning she could like get up to ultra rare items, which makes her super good. But let's look at her stat wise. Her skill checks are really high, meaning if she has participation awards and magnifying glass equipped, then Gigi could be a really good toon. But however, her stamina isn't that good, as she may require a trinket to boost the stamina, or a voting card system to boost Gigi's stamina. But yeah, just like her active ability requires luck. On to number 17 we have is Glisten. So basically, this toon can travel through a mirror, instantly teleporting to a targeted toon. But unlike Goob and Scraps where they require line of sight, Glisten does not need one to use his active ability. But let's take a look at his stats. So basically, his extraction speed is good, but however, his skill checks are very low, which means he could fail very easily. So if Twisted Astro is on his floor and Glisten fails, then Glisten could be done for. And honestly, Glisten is a very average toon, and they're pretty balanced, not gonna lie, and the downside to that is his cooldown is the longest. So yeah. On to number 16 we have is Finn. So Finn gains 33% movement speed whenever machine is completed for 10. So let's take a look at his stats. So he has a 4-star skill check and 3-star extraction speed, which makes him very good for extracting. And he can be somewhat a good extract, but Finn is not the best though, as his stamina is very low, and there are other toons who can extract better than Finn. Like, yeah. On to number 15 we have is Connie. So Connie has an active ability where she can become invisible, but however, there's a downside to that, because even if she did use her ability, Twisted Dandy will still see her, and then she will die easily. And another downside to that is that her movement speed is very low, but otherwise her stealth is good. It's very good, and so is her extraction speed for this one. So that's all I have to say for Connie. On to number 14 we have is Cole. Basically, this is gonna be my first distractor I'm ranking. Now Cole, in my opinion, he's a very decent distractor. He can be a good distractor and also support too, because he can highlight every items across the map for 10 seconds. So honestly, Cole is a pretty decent distractor, but still not the best, as there are better distractors like Pebbles there. On to number 13 we have is Flutter. So basically, Flutter is it's basically the same thing as Cole, as both of their stats are pretty much the same. But however, this toon can dash drastically, increasing her movement speed just like Rudy, and meaning she can She's pretty okay with distracting faster twisteds like twisted pebbles, stuff like this. So yeah, otherwise her stats are pretty decent. On to number 12 we have is Ginger. Basically a Christmas version of Cosmo, but her stats are very different. And the only downside to that is Ginger has a cooldown of 100 seconds, meaning her ability takes longer to heal other toons. But Cosmo on the other hand is shorter. So otherwise her stats are pretty good and decent. On to number 11 we have is Brightney. So basically, during blackouts, this toon can shine any twisteds for at least 8 seconds during blackouts. Her stamina makes it good to run away from toons and possibly become a distractor, and also extracting, and her extraction speed makes her good for extract. But here's a downside to it. Her stealth is what makes it very low, meaning twisteds can get to her very easily if not protected. But however, because of her stealth and you're planning on distracting, lots of twisteds will get her attention and they will chase her, and Briny will be good as a distractor if you have a very good trinkets you have. On to number 10 we have is Louis. As a rule of all-rounder, he actually varies depending on what you want to be, an extractor, distractor. He is very good at doing all of those stuff actually. Like Louis, he's one of the very good all-rounder toons. His stealth makes up for his aggro, but however, because of his passive ability, if he's at 1 heart and his movement speed is 5-star, Louis makes it very risky to distract at 1-star. So if you want to avoid dying, then try to bring in a savory charm to prevent death from happening to Louis. On to number 9 we have is Cosmo. So despite his skill check being low, Cosmo is one of the best non-main toon healers and stuff like this. And Cosmo's ability is way shorter than Ginger, making him considerably the fastest healers to ever exist in Dandy's world. So his stat-wise are pretty good, and that's all I have to say. On to number 8 we have is Tisha. So basically, Tisha arguably makes her the best distractor and supporter by giving out emergency speed boost to other distractors who are having trouble distracting. Her skill check and movement speed is very good, but yeah, that's why Tisha is one of the very good non-main toon distractors. On to number 7 we have is Goob. So basically, Goob is one of the best distractors and supporters because his active ability is good for multiple reasons. First being pulling toons away from getting chased by Twisted, pulling the last toon to the elevator, and pulling high extracting speed toons to extracting to a machine, and then pulling a low health toon to a med kit or bandage. So that's why Goob is the best supporter and distractor in my opinion, and everyone knows that obviously, so that's all I have to say. Now moving on to mains. On to number 6 we have is Bobet, because people arguably think that Bobet is the worst main ever, but sometimes, in my opinion, she can be good to solo as Bobet, and she has the ability to get away from Twisted just like Connie. But unlike her, she's able to duck herself from Twisted Dandy, meaning this makes her very better than Connie and stuff like this. So that's why Bobette is a very good all-rounder toon. Her stamina makes up for distractions and extracting too. On to number 5 is Astro, where his stealth makes him a very good survivalist, and he can create a pulse that fully restores stamina of the toons around him, which means Astro's active ability is really useful whenever the distractor is about to run out of stamina while getting chased by faster Twisteds and stuff like this. So, which makes him arguably the best stamina supporter around Dandy's world. On to number 4 we have is V. So basically, V has a 5-star extraction speed and a 4-star skill check, which makes her arguably the best extractor ever, and also has an active ability where she can highlight all Twisteds on floor for 5 seconds, just like Briny, but unlike her, she can actually highlight Twisteds on normal floors instead of, and also her passive ability also helps V during blackouts in case she's having trouble finding where the machine is during blackouts. So yeah, that's why V is a good extractor and stuff like this. So yeah. On to number 3 we have is Sprout. So basically, Sprout has the ability to heal a target toon at 1 heart by 100 tapes, and also has a 4-star movement speed and a 5-star stamina, which arguably makes him the best distractor and healer for every So if you want to play a Sprout, then try communicating with your team to have them save tapes for you, so you have the ability to heal other toons. On to number 2 we have is Shelly. So basically, Shelly has a 5-star skill check, which also makes her the best extractor, but however, she can support other toons while extracting machines by giving them extraction speed of selected toons by 75% for 15 seconds. So with a combo of Shelly and V, this makes them the best. This makes them extract even faster and stuff like this. And she can also gain 25% of her movement speed when any machine is complete for 10 seconds. Which means she can get a 10-second head start to run to the elevator before any Twisteds catch up to her. And finally, last but not least, we have is Pebbles. So basically, Pebble has a 5-star movement speed and a 4-star stamina, which makes him arguably one of the very best main distractors in Dandy's world. And his active ability will allow him to decrease his stealth and alert any Twisteds nearby to his location, which makes him very good to pull away any Twisteds that gets way too close to toons who have lower stealth. And not only that, his passive ability can sniff out items, meaning like comboing. Having Sprout and Pebbles on your team is very useful, as Pebble will help Sprout find tapes for them, and then after this he will gain lots of tapes if Pebbles is there. So that's why I arguably say Pebbles is the #1 toons in Dandy's world. Yup, and these are all of my rankings for all of the toons in Dandy's world. And remember, this is just an opinion of myself, so feel free to disagree if you want to. But if you do enjoy this video, please leave a like and hit the subscribe button. And my name is Electric, but you can also call me Chris. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.